Okay, I'm going to do a reading for one of my viewers. And I'm going to be using, this is the Lucky Card Rider-Waite-Smith deck, vintage, the vintage Lucky Card deck, which I absolutely love. It's a smaller deck, as you can see. It's like a poker deck. I think that's what it's called, or maybe it's the other one, bridge deck. I'm not sure, but it's a small deck, and I love these smaller decks. And it's a little vintagey. You'll see that it's a little darker than the rest as far as the coloration, but I just absolutely love this. So the reading for today is going to be for someone who asked how to take her power back. How to take her power back. It's a wonderful question. How do we take our power back? Myself or anyone else? It's an interesting question. And it's something that we have to do throughout our lives, figuring out how to take our power back, because often we're thrown in situations where we lose our power, we lose our way. And so how to take a power back, or our power back, or my power back, or her power back, is always an ongoing issue, I think, for all of us as we live our lives. So here we go. Now I'm going to pick a significator. I'm using this deck. I will not be using clarifiers. And I'm thinking, since it's a question about power, a question that she's kind of like searching for an answer, I think we're going to use the Hermit as the significator. So I'll pull this up and we'll look and see where we can find the Hermit. As you can see, it almost looks tea-stained, but it's just the way it's been printed. I do have a walkthrough of this deck. If you look through my deck and look for Lucky Card, or search for Lucky Card or Vintage, you should be able to find the walkthrough of this deck. I don't really, I don't like reversals. I don't read reversals. No, I don't like them. I just don't read them. So if I do see something that's turned around, here we go. The cards are kind of cool because there's nothing on them. There's just, for the major arcana, they have the number above. And for the cards, they just have the picture. And you can see this is the cups and the Four of Cups. So that's what I like about it. It's very, very basic, but very, very good for, I think I'm just going to put these in right side up. I'm not sure what happened here. I think the deck came out of my purse or something and got all mixed up. I get to see the deck. Okay, looks like we're pretty good. Whoops. Nope. Well, Hangman's always a tricky one. So how can I take my power back? What I like about that question is it implies that you do have, one has power. So you want it back. In other words, it implies that we have power. And that's what I like about the question and the person who asked the question, is that there's a knowledge that there is power. We do have power, innate power. So just by the question alone, we can see that the person, I believe, is a pretty strong person and a good sense of herself. How can I take back my power? We're going to do the horseshoe spread, which I've done which I do a lot. Okay, one more nice shake here, and this one with one of these. And I'll cut, and we'll get going. How can I take my power back? And this is upside down for some reason. Okay, there's the Hermit. How can I take my power back? That looks good. Okay. So recent past. There's a struggle. In the recent past, there's a person, this is the 2, 4, 6, no, wait a minute. This should be, the 7, the 7 of Wands. So it's kind of holding your ground and being stalwart and feeling like, there's been challenges, but you're up for it, and you've been holding your own. You're struggling, but you're still at the top of the mountain. So it shows some leverage because you are higher than the rest. So it shows a struggle and holding your ground, but again, you are on the higher ground, and it's always better to be on the higher ground than the lower ground because it gives you a defensible position. So there shows a struggle in the recent past. The current situation, the current action, is this is a very interesting card. This is the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles, of course, is a group work, and it's a practical card as well. So it shows you working together with other people on something, on a project, and that is your current situation right now, where you're working with other people. Now, how do I take my power back? It may be with other people, maybe working with other people. Maybe it has to do with education. How do you get your power back? Maybe it is through education or learning something from others. There's something here that's very practical, that you're joining forces with someone else. And so that's an interesting thing. So maybe one aspect of taking your power back is doing something practical with others. And this shows an exchange of information. Hidden influences. What is influencing you in the current situation? That's the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is an interesting card. It's again, we got some wands here, which is, the wands, of course, are the fiery suit, and that's passion. And with the Three of Wands, you've decided on a course of action. And in your mind, there is a decision made to move forward with something you're very passionate about. And you're looking ahead. You had before you hit the 3, you had the 2, which you were kind of working with 2 different aspects of passion, of your interests. And now you've made a decision which way to go. And that's your hidden influences. So I'd say that you know where the direction you're going in. You have a strong sense of where you want to go, at least at this point. And that's your hidden influences. And that can be a very strong, powerful aspect. It brings in the fire and the passion into something that you want to do. The obstacles up here. The obstacles, isn't that interesting? It's a nightmare card. It's the anguish. It's the thoughts keeping you awake at night. It's your mind. It's your mind being, because swords are thought and communication. So here we see a person in bed at night with the thoughts, same thoughts, repetitive thoughts that are causing a lot of nightmares or anguish, or unsurety, or not being sure which way to go. So these are your obstacles, and the obstacle is your own mind, is your own patterns of thought that could be holding you back. So that's something to consider as well. How do you break through those thoughts? How do you break through those patterns of thought? And that is a challenge. And that could be one way of getting your power, just realizing that your thoughts, this repetitive thinking, could be your biggest problem. Nothing external, more internal. The community. This is how family or friends or the community feels about you. Well, this is interesting. We have 3 wands. This is all fiery, the sign. And we have the King of Wands. And I often see the kings and queens of meaning a personage, someone in your life. And here we see a King of Wands in your community. This would be someone who is, I suspect, older in age or older in just being an older soul, who's been through a lot, who you can confide in, and who will give you good advice. And he carries the wand. He's been through a lot himself, and he deals with things with passion and surety, and he's come this far in his life. So it's someone, could be an older person, maybe an older family member. It could be a teacher or someone you respect. That person is someone who is supporting you now, and who is someone to give, maybe use as a sounding board. That person's there available for you. And you should think about any person who is an older person or someone who is an older soul, seems like has always good advice, to go to that person. Now, the other thing you can think of too is the sign. If you don't know who that person is, you could consider the sign, the fire sign, and that's the Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. I think I have that right. So maybe that person is one of those astrological signs. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a man. It could also be a woman who's very take charge. Okay, and then now, knowing this, where does it lead you? It leads you to take action. Okay, so this is interesting too. We have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is an interesting card. Fours are always stable. They're so stable that this gentleman looks a little bored, like it's boring. But he's had some successes. He's had some good things, but he's not happy about it. But meanwhile, there is something being offered. There's a wonderful thing being offered. And of course, cups are all emotion and love and healing. Something is being offered to you that you may not give it much weight, or you may not even notice it. And maybe it's time to look around and see what is being offered you. Something that is healing and positive and fulfilling and emotionally satisfying. Not something that is not those things. You want something in your life that's being offered. It could be just something small that you're not even realizing. And just focus on that and see what that's all about. So it's something that you're being offered that will give you healing and emotional fulfillment and help you move your next step. And finally, the outcome of all this, well, isn't this interesting? So we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is one of the best cards in the tarot deck, and that is wish fulfillment. So your wishes can come true, and that's a great card to have. Now, so what does this all mean? It means that you've had a struggle in the past, but you hold your own. You've been holding your own. You've reached the mountaintop, so you've reached a certain height, and that's good. But you're still defending your position. You still feel like you have to defend your position. The struggle is not over with yet. Here we have what you're doing is you're conferring with other people. It's about a practical matter. This could be a school. This could be a job. It could be a new endeavor that you're starting out with, and you work with other people. So you're exchanging information. You're learning from other people. You're teaching them. They're teaching you. You're exchanging this information, and it's very practical. And it's a new direction. So threes are always striving forward in a new direction. And again, here in the hidden influences, we have another three. You have two threes over here on the side, and this is your hidden influences. And here we have something that is another breakthrough of passion. This is a breakthrough of a practical nature. This is a breakthrough of passion. And it seems like you're definitely doing some new things over here. You have two threes over on the side. So it's definitely moving forward. And this even could be some form of travel or something where you're moving in a direction, a new direction. It could be a location, a space, or it could be, this seems to indicate like maybe a move of some kind. But it could just be seeing things in a different way, a more exciting way, and getting your passion ignited. And that's really good. Now your obstacles. Now we have obstacles, and we have one really strong obstacle here, and that's the Nine of Swords, and that's the Nightmare card. And that's a card that where your mind is taking up more, you're giving it too much space in your head, where you have to step back and re-look at things or re-evaluate your past and maybe like say, okay, that was then, but this is now. In other words, I think you need to look at the situation with fresh eyes and be more active. Get more out of yourself. Don't be so tied up in your own head. Make the move to be outside of yourself and see where that takes you. Because these here show outer movement with other people and outer movement, not in your mind, but out there with your passion. So in your mind could be holding you back. This would indicate there's a person there to help you. It could be a man or a woman. This isn't a king, but there is an older person there that could be an older person or an older soul who could be there for counsel and who might be very helpful. And they're rooting for you, this community card with the King of Wands. And how will you act when you get all this? Well, you are going to make a change. You are going to get out of this situation, and you're going to look at all your resources, and you're going to see something different than you did before. There's going to be something offered to you. And this is the hand of God. This is like an Ace of Cups, which is a wonderful card. And it's being offered to you. So there's something in your universe, in your world, that is being offered to you. You may not even notice it. You probably think it's not worth anything, or if it's barely important to you. But it brings a lot of healing and a lot of insight and a lot of love. So this cup here being offered to you is there for your taking. You just have to look at it. You have to find it, figure out what it is. And then finally, when you do all this, you go out, get out of your head and go out there, meet people, find your passion, maybe talk with someone else. Be conscious of these thoughts and let them subside, your past thoughts about your past nature. Then you will be offered something. You'll see something. There'll be an insight. Cups are also intuitiveness. You're also being very intuitive. So there's something there within your grasp, and you don't know what it is yet, but there's something there for you. Maybe a good way to maybe meditate and get access to that information. And what that will bring will be a huge wish fulfillment at the end. So this is a wonderful little reading, I think, a wonderful spread for someone who's looking to get their power back. So I hope you found this helpful, and have a great day.